What's going on, guys? This is Rob, and if you're enjoying the content here on my channel, then make sure you hit the like button and make sure you hit subscribe so you can help decide what direction the content on my channel goes in the foreseeable future. Okay, so like last week we did the rundown with Batman letting a guy burn to death. I don't know why that's funny to me. I don't know why I'm laughing about the fact that Batman let a guy burn to death. Maybe it's because Batman never does that. Man, that's messed up. Like when you say it out loud, it's rough, man. But this week we're gonna cover one of the creepiest stories of all time, which is when like Billy Batson becomes Captain Marvel. Like when he gets his powers, his original powers in the old Wiz Comics #2. So history time. Okay, so history time. I don't know why I did that little intro thing. Gordon, you got to keep that. You can't not do anything with that. You can't cut that out. This is like the most fun I've ever had making a video. Okay, so it's like 1938, right? And like you have Harry Donenfeld and Malcolm Wheeler Nicholson, and they've launched Detective Comics, and they have the Detective Comics line of stories and so on and so forth, like New Fun Comics, Adventure Comics, whatever. And they want to launch a publication called Action Comics, but they have like no content for it. They hit the panic button, and Harry Donenfeld goes to this guy Vin Sullivan, and he's like, "Get me something for Action Comics. I don't care what it is." So like this whole time, you had Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, who've been trying to get like anybody to publish the story of Superman, like United Feature Syndicate and like all these different publications. So they sent it into DC, which is kind of weird because they were basically writing Slam Bradley at the time, who's basically Batman, without like the cloak and cowl, but like he does all the other stuff, like he beats people up, and he's not really that smart, but he beats people up, and he's like a detective. But the whole thing is like Vin Sullivan is going through like a stack of write-ins, and he's like, "Whatever, man, we'll just grab this Superman, whatever this is, and just throw it in there." It was a total happenstance that Superman got published, but Superman got published by like a luck of the draw and just like exploded. Like it was the craziest thing ever, and everybody's like, "Oh man, Superman this is the coolest thing ever." So like 2 years later, you got Fawcett Publications, right? And like Fawcett Publications was making like newspapers and like magazines, or what passed for magazines, but because of the fact that Superman like blew up the comic book industry, I mean, you had like Timely back then, which was like the predecessor to Marvel, but like Fawcett was like, "Okay, so like we got to get in on this cash cow, because if we don't, like we're gonna be missing out on like some serious cheese." So the president of Fawcett Publications goes to a couple guys who were working there, and he goes to Bill Parker and CC Beck, and he says, "Give me Superman without Superman." And they're like, "Well, isn't that copyright infringement?" And he's like, "Don't give a damn." So like they create this kid named Billy Batson, Captain Marvel. All right, dude, this kid, dude, it was crazy how popular Captain Marvel was. People think Superman was like the most popular superhero of all time. He is now, but like he wasn't then. Like back in 1940, no. Captain Marvel was the name of the game. Dude, he doubled the sales of Superman's comics. He could fly before Superman. He had his own radio show before Superman. He's like the most popular thing ever. That's why DC sued him. It was insane how popular it was. But we have this kid, Billy Batson, and Billy Batson is like he's got problems, right? And I don't mean like 21st century millennial problems, like, "Oh, I got a major in something pointless and now I can't find work." I mean like real problems, like he's homeless, yet somehow he's got these crisp clean clothes and he's wearing Chuck Taylors, but like he's selling newspapers. And like this old man in like a hat and a cloak shows up, and he's like, "Hello, little boy. Do you want to know a secret?" It's like the creepiest thing. Like if this happened right now, parents would come running out of the woodwork. They'd jump out of cracks in the ground. They'd start beating this guy over the head with purses. Like it'd be the craziest thing. It'd be hilarious. That's a World Star Hip Hop video. That's a video that goes viral. So this creepy old man takes Billy Batson into the subway. It's a little boy, this little kid, takes him into the subway station, and Billy's like, "Where are we going?" And he's like, "Just wait and see." So they hitch a ride aboard the magical train that apparently, I guess, is going to Hogwarts. So it's like the magical train, and like the magical train takes them to like Adventureland, which rides by like the 7 deadly sins, which is creepy enough. You know, if I'm like a little boy who's like 10 years old, and some creepy old man shows up and says, "Hello, little boy, come with me. I want to show you something," you know, and I follow him, one, that's a problem because my parents clearly screwed up. And two, there's no possible way this can end well. So the train takes Billy Batson to the home of an old man. This is so creepy. It's like the creepiest thing ever. It takes him to the home of an old man, and like the old man's like, "I know everything about you, Billy Batson." But it gets even crazier. Like it gets even more illogical after this. So Billy's like, "How do you know my name?" He's like, "I know everything about you," you know? And so like the old man just like shouts the word Shazam. And we end up having like Billy being shown that like Shazam is like, they're like letters that stand for things. Like, you know, Solomon's wisdom, and like Hercules' strength, and Atlas' stamina, and Zeus's power, and Achilles' courage, and Mercury's speed. He does not get Achilles' heel, which would actually be kind of funny funny. Like the one weakness of like Shazam or Captain Marvel is like all you have to do is just like shoot him in the ankle and he's defeated, like shoot him in the heel. That would be hilarious. Like imagine that, like a fight between like Superman and like Captain Marvel, and like they're just beating the crap out of each other. Like it's like this no hold bar, like bloody, like this bloody, downright bloody fight. Like teeth are missing, all that kind of stuff. And Superman's like, I've had enough of this, and just like squeezes Billy Batson's heel, and he's like, oh, you know, and like turns back into Billy Batson. That would be hilarious. Like, dude, I would, I would die laughing if that happened. But anyway, so this goes into the whole thing where the old man's like, okay, so like I'm 3,000 years old, because you know, you can believe me. I mean, I'm not just some crazy man tripping balls in the subway. Like you can believe me, I'm 3,000 years old, all right? And I exist to protect the world, but I can't do it forever. So like you need to be the one to protect the world. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you powers to basically shout the word Shazam, and you're gonna have all these abilities, and you're gonna become Captain Marvel. And so like Billy Batson says the word Shazam and turns into like this grown man, and basically like becomes a hero. Now I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I mean, let's be truthful here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's be honest with ourselves, folks. If any of us had this power, like I don't know about you guys, I'd pick up chicks. Like that's what I would do. I would be like Shazam, and then hey girl, what's going on, girl? Look at how handsome I am, and I've got slick hair, and I'm handsome and good looking, and I'm strong and muscular. You know, like that's literally what I would do. I would just like shout Shazam and then like walk into bars, you know, and just like pick up chicks. That's exactly what I would do. You can call me shallow if you want to, but that's exactly what I would do. I regret nothing. So anyway, once Billy Batson learns he has these powers, the old man on acid sends him back onto the streets. All right, so the next morning, we pick up with Billy Batson, who's like, you know, selling his newspapers and reading this story about some maniac scientist that wants to like blow up the radio system, like the radio system, because there's only one radio system in the United States. But like he wants to blow up the radio system. And like there's these two guys who show up and they refer to a guy as the boss. So Billy Batson, being the detective that he is, puts two and two together and says, man, a scientist wants to blow up the radio system. These guys refer to a guy as boss. Clearly they're criminals. Clearly they're bad guys. And they work for the maniac scientist because, you know, 1940s comic logic. So like Billy Batson like watches these guys go into like these high-rise apartments, all right, and then he goes flying into the high-rise apartments, like goes running in there, and he's like, hey doorman, like there's criminals who just walked in here. And like the doorman are like, what evidence do you have? And he's like, one of them referred to a guy as boss, you know, and it's like, okay, this kid's crazy. This kid's got nothing. So like they boot him out of here, right? They're like, dude, get out of here, kid. Kid ignores them, goes running in to talk to a guy named Mr. Morris, who's running the whole radio program and everything. So like Billy Batson tells him, he's like, hey, look, man, some guys are up to no good. They're gonna destroy your stuff. I know this because I heard them say the word boss, and clearly that's the thing only criminals and mobsters say. And so, you know, Mr. Morris is like, whatever, man, get the heck out of here. But Billy's like, okay, look, I'll make you a deal, man. If I figure out what's going on and if I solve this case, will you give me a job? And, you know, and Mr. Morris is like, yeah, sure, man. Like, I'll definitely give you a job. So like Billy takes off and he's like, this sounds like a job for Captain Marvel, and like shouts the word Shazam. So like he shows up inside of like this radio place where these guys are getting ready to destroy all this stuff, and they're talking to the maniac scientist, and like Shazam shows up, grabs one of the guys and throws them into the radio equipment. Now keep in mind, these aren't like prop boxes, right? These aren't cardboard boxes, and it's not really even a wall. He throws them into radio equipment. Electricity just flowing through these things, and he's like, don't care whether you live or die, like throws them into the radio equipment. All right, the other guy goes bolting for the elevator, you know, tries to jump down the elevator shaft. Captain Marvel grabs the rope, throws it down there, brings him back up, and beats the crap out of him. So he's like, no, not only are you not gonna get away, I'm gonna beat the crap out of you just for good measure. And so then the maniac scientist starts talking crap. So Shazam, like Captain Marvel, you know, Billy Batson, he's like, all right, he's like, look, the next time we meet, you know, either it's gonna be behind prison cells or you're gonna be dead because I'm gonna kill you. And I'm like, really, Billy Batson? You're just gonna run up on an old man and just kill him? That is not what you were taught, Billy Batson. I know you know better than that. But like he's just like running up on old folks and just killing old folks, because that's what Billy Batson does. I don't know. It's pretty messed up. So Mr. Moore shows up, all right, and Billy's like, oh man, yeah, dude, look at this, man. This is crazy. Like, look at all this stuff. Because like Billy Batson calls him up and he's like, hey man, all your radio stuff got trashed. And like Mr. Moore shows up and he's like, what happened? And Billy's like, man, I have no idea. So obviously he just like told a bold-faced lie. And so Mr. Morris is like, well, I mean, obviously you couldn't do this on your own, but because of the fact that I said I would give you a job if you manage to solve this case, then like the job is yours. So the question we have to ask is, what's the lesson we've learned? Like just to recap what happened in this story. There's a little kid named Billy Batson who's homeless, yet somehow has nice clothes. He's met by a mysterious old man who's wearing a cloak, which never ends well. He follows the old man into the subway system, where he takes a ride on a magical train covered in stars and shapes to meet another old man who's clearly tripping balls and says, you'll have magical powers if you shout my name. And then he he turns around and he trashes a radio station after, for whatever reason, believing that these guys were criminals because they said the word boss, then to turn around and tell a bold-faced lie to another guy and be rewarded for it. That is what we've learned from this story. This is Golden Age comics, guys, 1940s comics. This is the way the game got played. But with that being said, guys, we're gonna bring this video to an end. If you are new here to Comics Explained, make sure you guys hit the sub button to become part of the Rob Corps. If you guys enjoy this video, make sure you drop a like, and I will catch you all later. Peace.